What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Superpower Review, the show that brings you news and reviews on super cool comic book things. As always, I am your host, Kevin Vidina, and today's show is dedicated to Eric Poland all the way from Texas. Thank you for watching and subscribing there, good friend. Today's episode is all about the Avengers Infinity War, the biggest blockbuster movie that hit this weekend, making $630 million globally in one weekend. Holy cow. To help me talk about this topic, I got my good friend Jake here with me. What's up, Jake?
What's going on, guys? Welcome. Nice to be back.
So just so you guys know, if you have not watched the movie yet, I suggest you do not watch today's video because this will be definitely a spoiler alert for you guys. There's no fun in a review if you can't talk about the actual, the guts and the good meat of the burger, you know what I mean? So let's get into it. Jake, we went to go see this movie together.
Of course, 11 o'clock at night. Going one good seats.
Yes, in 3D.
Yep.
What did you think of this movie?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. They did a very good job of making everybody come full circle and kind of making it meld. I'm excited for part 2. I am very excited.
And we have to wait a whole year for part 2. Why?
Give or take. Give or take.
This movie starts off right away with it doesn't waste any time. This movie gets started. People already start dying. You see Thanos in the first minute of the movie. There's an epic battle between Thanos and the Incredible Hulk right off the bat. That part was so awesome. Okay, I thought the Incredible Hulk was gonna have his way with Thanos.
Oh, absolutely. I was so upset though.
I was so upset too because in the comic books, Thanos always mentions how he avoids confrontation from the Incredible Hulk. You know what I mean? But this was completely different. Thanos really literally wiped his ass with the Hulk.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that they're setting up for something in the second part. I'm hoping that what they do is they use this fight to show Hulk get ruined in this movie. And he's terrified. The entire movie, the Hulk is terrified. After this fight, he's gone. You don't see him.
You don't see him.
He is a coward. And he is gone for the movie. I'm excited because I hope that just Hulk gets entirely way too mad and he explodes on Thanos and whoops his butt on the next movie.
I really hope so,
I think
too.
that'd be fantastic.
That's what everybody wants and needs to see is the Hulk just getting round 2 and getting the comeback in.
I think they built Hulk up to be this power being, and he was too confident in the fight, and he had to get knocked down a peg. I mean, so I thought it was really cool, but I really am sad to see him make a one-time appearance in the movie.
Yeah, right. But it did come up with some comic relief on how he couldn't get back into.
Yeah,
the Hulk would have come out no.
Need some Hulk Viagra, I
guess. There's so many other parts, and literally next few after that fight, a very important character dies.
Oh, absolutely. I know a lot of women out there are probably crying about it.
Yeah, probably because he is well loved.
Absolutely.
I was actually shocked. I wasn't expecting that death. Let's just say I wasn't expecting Loki's death. I really wasn't.
No, I wasn't either. I mean, it was very interesting the way they killed him off. I mean, you thought he was going to play off to be, the mischief, the traitor, the flip-flop.
Yeah.
And I mean, he stayed true to it, but for once, he kind of held true to his brother. He kind of stayed with him. And it was actually really nice to see, but kind of shitty, because, pardon my language, but I mean...
Bad boy.
Yeah. But I mean, it was, he was trying to do what he did best, and he got bit the bullet for it.
Yeah, right. And then we lost another character. We lost Mandel. Amdel, yes, thank you. I'm horrible with pronouncing names.
Nope, that's fine.
And then, so us fans had our expectations for this movie. We had our speculations. We thought maybe he had the Soul Stone and he didn't, and he was killed. So, with watching the trailer, you have an idea what's going to happen, and then sometimes you think oh, they gave away way too much, and I finally know the story. But there were actually a good handful of surprises in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that Marvel's actually smartening up about is that I've noticed is in the trailer, what they're doing is they are changing things. Like if you remember in Thor, in the trailer, you see Thor come down on the rainbow bridge with both eyes lit up and everything like that, but in the movie he's missing one. He's got the patch and everything like that. And now if you look back in the Avengers, you have the Hulk running in the background with all of the Avengers, but it's actually Bruce Banner in the Hulk Buster.
Yeah, right.
So they're getting real smart of showing as much as they want with covering up little tidbits that are gonna like hide things from it. It's actually very intriguing now.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about during this movie. Another thing about this movie, since the whole MCU is together, you really have to pay attention to what's really going on. You really have to focus and pay attention because there are so many other side stories, if you will, in this movie. So nothing too hard to follow, but you definitely have to pay attention on what this character is doing, why this character is doing this, and what's the goal with this scene and stuff like that.
I feel like it was very interesting in the way they kind of like juggled the ball on this. They had to make sure that they had to tell everybody's story, had to give everybody enough screen time, and tell their story accurately. And it was, I'd say it's well done, but of course they could always add more. But I mean, it's weird to like try to pick apart.
Yeah, right.
Because you had Thor, who is at the first in the group, and then now he kind of goes off and does his own thing with a couple of the Guardians. Yeah. And then the rest of the Guardians meet up with.
He goes off to make Stormbreaker.
Oh yeah, man, I love that thing. It was awesome. Peter Dinklage, one of my favorite cameos in this movie. Yeah. I thought it was great. You take the dwarf and you make him the biggest guy in the movie.
I had no clue that he was in the movie.
Me neither. And you say they gave away too much, but they didn't say anything about this guy.
Yeah. I had no clue he was even going to be in the movie. I was like, hey, I know that guy. Yeah. His voice got a little deeper too.
Yeah.
So saying that it is an Avengers movie, okay, Thanos has the most airtime in the movie. It should just be called Thanos, the Infinity Gauntlet, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really come off as a villain type. It's just kind of like he's not mad, he's not crazy. It's just that he feels like he has to do this on what he's doing in the movie with taking the stones, getting balance in the universe, and wiping out the universe. What he's doing is obviously insane and bad, but he just doesn't see it that way.
A good way to describe it for you D&D guys out there, chaotic neutral. Do anything it takes to meet to his end to make sure everything remains neutral. I feel like that would be a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
I might be a little off on how they align him, but I mean that's how I see it.
Yeah.
He sacrifices his daughter for crying out loud for one of the stones. Like, oh man, Red Skull.
Yeah, that was weird. You know what? I didn't understand the whole Red Skull appearance, and I was like, oh crap! Like, what's this guy doing in here? I didn't understand why he was there. I thought he was dead, but he was also saying that he was there for like a really long time. He's been there for years.
The word is that after he tried to hold the cube,
he was like teleported, right?
Killed. He was more teleported to what was the name of that planet?
I don't remember.
Starts with a V. But teleported that planet is kind of like a keeper of the soul stone.
Yeah.
To make sure that the stone is understood of its power and to know what you give up for that stone. And Thanos surprisingly had someone that he could actually get rid of to replace that stone.
See, now I was kind of expecting that. I was expecting Gamora to die, but I didn't expect how she was gonna die. So the way how they did that, how he sacrificed Gamora to get the Soul Stone, she kind of looked at him. When the Red Skull said you have to sacrifice something that you love in order to get this stone, and she's like, "Ha! You don't love anything. You're not gonna get this stone. Mission failed." Like, "Ha! Like in your face." And he's like, "All right." Just throws her off the cliff. He was obviously sad about it, but he had to get the mission done, I guess. So I wasn't expecting that. Because and a lot of people are like, oh, he shouldn't love anything, but he did really love her.
I'll take that word with a grain of salt. But I mean, He got him when he
take
needed.
it for a grain of salt after he did kill his own stepdaughter. He calls it daughter, but it's kind of like a stepdaughter.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious on how they're gonna kill this guy.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, we'll just have to wait for part 2. We lost so many characters at the end. We're kind of like jumping here and there.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like off the cuff kind of thing.
Go see the movie. It'll make sense.
With all the characters that we lost in this movie, at the end, everyone just kind of fades into dust. I wonder how we're going to get those back. And I wonder, okay, just my thought here, that if you notice, everyone who did stay, who didn't get, faded away, were people like Captain America, Iron Man. So everyone who stays, are those the people who are going to potentially die in the next movie? And the people who did go away are, to stay in the future of the MCU?
From what I understood watching the movie, they said that it was random. Thanos made it a random decision on who's to leave, who's to stay. It wasn't, maybe in the grand scheme of things, maybe that might play a part, but they say it was random. I mean, granted, yeah, we kept the big name characters. We kept Thanos, we kept Thor, we kept Captain America, Iron Man, Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
A lot of the big name people that actually can deal with Thanos. Maybe it has to do with some reason of the power to deal with him. Maybe I don't know, but I was kind of disappointed on a couple of the characters they portrayed. Like we talked about Vision.
Speak it, go. Yeah.
Vision was a letdown.
He was.
In the second one, fighting Ultron, he was able to
stand
deal
his
with
own.
Exactly against anyone, human, mutant, whatever.
He could have beat Ultron with his one hand.
Exactly, and now he could not even fight a guy with a spear.
Yeah, you know what? I actually have to chime in on here. I think that I understand what Marvel's doing. I understand what they're doing. They're taking away their 2 biggest characters out of the picture so Thanos can get on the uprising. I understand that, but you know what? The Vision just became like a baby. Like everybody, take care of Vision. You know what I mean? Everybody, stop what you're doing. Take care of Vision. You know what I mean? That was a huge letdown. The Vision's probably supposed to be one of the most powerful Avenger in the whole team, and he was just a little wimp.
Yeah,
and that's not even the best word to describe it.
For crying out loud, he has the power of a Mind Stone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you either, but again, I understand what they're doing, taking away their most powerful characters like the Hulk and the Vision. But, again, this is one of the things that the Avengers have never dealt with. They've never dealt with such a character like Thanos before. They don't know what to do. They're completely upside down, guys, what do we do here? We're fighting all these creatures. That part, man. Oh man, when those creatures are coming through the
force field
in Wakanda.
Yep.
Oh man, when you see them just pouring in, I literally was like, oh my word! How is this even gonna happen? You know what I mean?
I know. I was wondering if the Wakanda Warriors were gonna be able to stand up to these guys. I mean, usually they're just kind of the cannon fodder.
Who was the best character for that whole scene?
Thor.
Who saved the day?
Thor.
Thor.
Jake, with Stormbringer, he comes in, that's his grand appearance. He wins, He hit down with a hammer, he took out 50 dudes.
That was quite the grand entrance.
Absolutely. I don't know how I feel about them giving back his eye. I liked him, made him step.
Yeah, it kind of gave him that...
humanity to him?
Yeah, it gave him a little bit I know he's a character, but it gave him a little bit more character. Gave him a little rough around the edges. He's been through hard battles. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand that too. That him losing his eye and having that eye patch shows wisdom. He's been through stuff.
Yeah, kind of like Odin's not gone.
Yeah, right. Man, there's just so much to talk about. So who was your favorite character in this whole movie? Whole entire movie.
Oh, jeez.
It's hard. I don't even think I can even pick one. But it is a hard.
I got it down to 2 at least. It's between Thor and Thanos.
Thor and Thanos.
Yeah.
So Thanos is like woo, like go Thanos.
Not really go Thanos, but I mean,
You just like
I can't sit there and be like, well, I mean, he's got a point, but I mean, maybe he's not ethical, but I mean, he's got a point. I mean, he's not insane by any means.
Right.
You know, he has a plan, he has a method, he has a madness. He's got all of it, but I mean, it's just people's upbringing is what determines what their thought process is, and it's not lining up between the Avengers and Thanos. Thanos thinks that half the population needs to disappear in order for everybody to live a great life.
Right.
And the Avengers don't think so. They think that everybody deserves a chance. Not sure. I mean, I don't know. I like Thor. Thor kind of like regained his glory in the Ragnarok movie. He lost it. He was like weak. He was down. He was out. And right now he kind of like just went. As soon as he was able to retrieve the new weapon, the Stormbringer, he kind of regained his Thor-like power. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. And he's so much stronger now in these movies ever since Ragnarok. So again, going back to saying that, Marvel is kind of like taking their best characters or their well-known characters pushed aside. I was super excited to see Captain America. As we all know, people clapped when we saw Captain America, like, yay! And he was a big part of the trailer, but you don't see too much of Captain America.
No.
Which is, it was kind of good to see. It's all in good build-up to take these characters to push them off in the side. But I kind of have so I was really happy to see him, especially with that beard. But it's kind of hard to tell. I really enjoyed watching Thor. Thor, I felt like was my favorite and the superhero of this movie. But I also have to give it to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is still, he gave away the stone, okay, to save lives, but he was also doing it protecting the stone as well, because he saw how many different alternate endings on how it was going to end.
It's like 14 million and something.
It was something crazy. It's something ridiculous, but he was doing it all to win, number one, to protect the stone and to save lives.
I agree, but I don't think so. Doctor Strange makes that statement early on, and he goes, if I have to choose between any of you guys and this stone, I'm choosing the stone, hands down. But the moment he gets the chance to give up the stone when Thanos asks for it, he willingly gives it up to save Tony.
But is he saving just Tony? Or is he still saving the stone?
Absolutely not.
Is he still saving the stone?
I'm betting that he foresaw the outcome of how half the population of the entire universe was going to disappear.
What if it was like...
And that was going to play into his hand, because he wanted that. I feel like he sabotaged and cursed the stone, so when Thanos committed his ultimate move, it blew up his hand, and that's what caused him to kind of like... And that's what happened. That's what left everybody with a cliffhanger.
What if it was like an oxymoron, though? Like, in order to save the stone would to give the stone to Thanos?
I mean, that could be possibly true. I mean, maybe Thanos is going to disappear.
Right.
I don't think so, but
I don't know.
one could hope.
One could hope. So I would have to give it down to Thor and Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, I wish I could have seen him do more. And I mean,
instead of having like those like glorious like hand movements, like
he was getting really good when he made like 1 million of them, and then they just had Thanos like kind of shoot him out of the air.
It was kind of like a Power Rangers like pose, like, you want to fight? Yeah.
Oh man, no, but I mean, I liked it when they made like 1 million of Doctor Strange, and then they used all of his like magic whip to kind of tie him down, and that's the kind of stuff that Doctor Strange is capable of, to think outside the box and just kind of go from the side. But you always see him just kind of go head on, and then when he kind of just did that little maneuver, it was great to see, and I was hoping it was going to turn to something good, and Thanos just shoots him out of the sky.
Yeah. Well, definitely the person who did not help in this movie was definitely Star-Lord Peter Quill. He was
the problem.
He was the problem, exactly. You're like, man, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing, Star-Lord?
They were about to win.
You were messing everything up.
Yeah.
Kick him out.
Yep.
Why didn't he die? Get rid of that guy. He's not helping. Kill him.
Didn't he? Yeah, he did. He was one of the half that
Well,
disappeared.
yeah, he disappeared.
The only one that was left was, I think, Strange and Tony.
Strange, Tony.
I mean, at least on
War
that planet, on
Machine.
Titan.
Oh yeah, Titan.
Spidey
went, and
he was a good support character.
He was a good support character. I give you that. You know, I mean, he has his shine moments, definitely. Definitely loved the Iron Spider suit, seeing the legs come out of his back. That was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely looks like a spider now. It's not comic book accurate, but you know what? I don't care. It's their own MCU flair on the Iron Spider, and I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I feel like they gotta show as much as they can of Spidey before they do another reboot.
So if you were to give this movie a rating, what would you give it? Rotten Tomatoes, I believe, gave it a 85% fresh tomatoes.
I'd give it about a 90 to 92. This was great.
I think that was a little low. Maybe they got so much hate for giving all these Marvel movies so much love. They're like, okay, maybe we have to like can it down a little bit.
Yeah, but yet they gave Wonder Woman a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that was a bit much. That movie was amazing, but it wasn't. It obviously didn't deserve that. But okay, so what would you give Avengers: Infinity War?
I'd give it a solid 90, 91.
91? Yeah, I think so. Maybe like 87 to 90. I would give it that. I think that's a good ballpark range.
I love, this is all completely outside the whole movie, but the trailer with Deadpool was in the beginning of it. Next, it gives a little dig at the DC universe.
Yeah. The little trailer. So dark.
Like it's a DC movie.
So what do you think it will, do you have any predictions for the next movie?
It's hard to tell because they left things very, very open.
They did.
Thanos definitely disappeared back to Titan. That's where we were left off. Was Thanos was back on Titan?
That was a good part because that was ripped right from the comic books.
Really?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Where he actually like sits down and sees like a sunset, and he's kind of like calmed and relaxed.
At that point, I think he's kind of happy. He can die a happy man. Kind of
Right.
But I feel like something's going to happen with one of the Infinity Stones, especially the one that Strange gave him. I feel like some time loop is going to happen. Something's up. Something's not like a rest. Or, I don't know. I feel like
they definitely have to go back to the drawing board. They really have to figure something out because, again, this is something they have never dealt with before. Who's going to do what? They got to really think back on, the strengths of these characters, the weaknesses of their characters, and I'm saying like the Avengers as a whole. I'm talking like as if the Avengers really exist.
Yeah.
When it's actually the MCU.
Yeah.
They have it up their sleeve already, but I really can't predict on what's going to happen. Who's going to be left, who's going to die, who's going to live. I'm completely shocked on who died in this movie. I went into this movie already thinking people who were going to die, and they didn't. I was shocked. I was like, oh man, like they didn't die yet? Like, whew, okay, we're good.
You know why Peter Dinklage is in this? Because it's like a Game of Thrones reference. Everybody dies. Man, I don't know. One thing I was looking for, I was curious about like Thor out of nowhere caught Thanos with the axe in the chest.
Yeah.
And once he disappeared to Titan, I was looking for that gaping wound. But it was gone, or they didn't shoot it, something, or spoof.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm curious on like how wounded he is.
Kind of stone to eliminate that, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The use of the stones is really cool. Like when Vision dies and he goes back in time already, you killed him, yeah, good luck, and goes back time and just takes the stone. Vision's death, when he died, he looked absolutely gross, and I liked it. He was like all gray and discolored. Yep. That was awesome.
I wonder if Thanos is going to turn back time. Maybe try to not happy with his decision.
Maybe
let himself be taken down.
Marvel could have gave us like a movie of the Infinity War, and this movie could technically not even matter.
Oh, absolutely. Could be another Indiana Jones.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go, there's a couple of things I want to say. Things that I did like that was brought out of the comic books. Again, the ending scene when he's just kind of watching the sunset. That was cool. Another thing that was kind of almost ripped out of the comic books is when Hulk comes crashing through Doctor Strange's house. except in the comic books it was Silver Surfer. So it was kind of cool to see some of these comic book references. So, all right. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for today's episode. This was extremely fun. If you have not watched this movie, then we pretty much told you the whole movie.
Yep.
So make sure you go see it. I plan on watching it again.
I'm gonna use that free pass we got.
We got a free pass when we went to go see it. There was
Some
like a
string
little
was hanging,
string hanging from the screen, and we got to get free movie passes. So that was absolutely fantastic. So I plan on watching this movie again, just to kind of like pay attention even more and pick up on things that you're like, oh, you know what? I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Stuff like that. But hey, that's going to do it for today's episode. Make sure you like this video if you liked anything that we had to say about the movie. And let's start a comment war, or just a good conversation in the comment section below. Leave your comments on what you liked and what you didn't like about the movie. And if you liked this video, or this, if you want to see more from this channel, please subscribe. It would be gladly appreciated. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys really soon.